Today I'm going to talk about something that the news or I haven't heard anybody talk about to keep your family safe from what's going on with that parasite on the lettuce. Hi, this is Robbie from Southern California. I've been watching a lot of different news programs and information out there, but I've done my own research, and I think this is worth passing around to all of you, whether you're farming or gardening or buying lettuce. I don't know why this particular topic wasn't really pushed right from the beginning and talked about, but some of it could be due to advertisers, so they don't want to talk about that. The cat's out of the bag. There's a problem with most of the iceberg lettuce around the United States right now being purchased. I should say a lot of it, not most of it. It's actually very little. But the point is, it's got a parasite on there. Now, the research I have done is very interesting. This parasite is, let's just say it easily, is not native to the United States. It is a subtropical, tropical parasite. So it isn't originally coming from here. It's coming from somebody that either lives there or lettuce brought in. We all knew right away, and nothing was broadcasted, that the lettuce that was contaminated with that parasite was obviously shipped in. Now, there are ways to get it in the United States if you have a farm and you've got people working there, you don't know anything about them, and let's say you don't have good bathroom facilities. You're out in a big field with acres and acres. What do you think they do? Okay, that's just one thing. Another thing is the fertilizers they use these days. They are using human feces, and sometimes the wording is in there where you don't even understand what they're making the fertilizer from. And just as an example, I have somebody very close to me that got some free compost fertilizer from the city. And when he came home, he called me all excited. He got a big truckload of blah, blah, blah. And I said, do you know what's in it? And he said, yeah, it's just leaves and stuff. Read the paperwork. And when he read the paperwork, and it was in there, it was coming basically from different feces from animals as well as people. And he didn't know that. So what he ended up doing is throwing it all away. The point I'm trying to make is it comes from feces. It can be from human or monkey. It comes out of the body, and it has to kind of, let's use the word incubate, but it's not really incubate. It's got to get to a certain stage. It takes a few days until it can enter somebody else. Now, I have seen how a lot of, not all, but how a lot of these lettuce are washed. There's a truck that goes down, they dip the lettuce in a solution, they're wrung out, and then they're packaged and sent off to the stores. They're all done out on the fields. That's the way a lot of them are. Doing it that way, if you miss, there might be 10,000 bags and one bag might be contaminated with it. Let's say because of somebody that was working there. Or the fertilizer, something got into the water. If you have human waste, monkey waste, we don't have monkeys really here, maybe a little bit in Florida, get into the water system, that can also create the issue of this parasite. So if it gets washed, let's say romaine lettuce, but this time it was iceberg lettuce, and it got into these bags, it could be in a couple bags. It only takes the one person to get sick from it, because if you have a really good immune system, you might just flush it out of your body and not even know. Then you wouldn't even know how much of it is around, which means there's probably a whole lot more than they're even talking about. This is what I want to talk about today. So now you know where it comes from. It's not from the United States, though you can catch it in the United States from somebody that brought it in, or let's say somebody that used bathroom facilities, and let's say the sewer water wasn't done good, or something got into the water system and they used it on plants that they're growing. The point is, let's talk about one thing right now that is so important for all of us. I can guarantee you this lettuce does not have it. This is my romaine lettuce. It doesn't matter if it was romaine, butter lettuce, red lettuce, iceberg lettuce, whatever it is, it would not be in here. It would not be in all this lettuce I grow. We can grow lettuce for next to nothing in dishpans. I have all kinds of videos on that. And here's the thing. The lettuce that we're growing on our property, in our own gardens, is free from this parasite because it's not in our soil. And if you're not using human waste fertilizer, I can guarantee you that it pretty much, let's say 99%, that it will not be in there. Your lettuce will be safe. They don't talk about backyard gardeners. If you've noticed the news, I haven't seen one say, don't worry about the lettuce that you're growing in your garden. Everything is from the store. Where is it from? Do you know the United States ships in from other countries approximately 50% of the lettuce that's been consumed comes from out of the country? So we have 50% go to our people, and then 50% goes out, and then we buy 50% back. Now, this could be off-season, whatever it is, but the point is, as long as they're not using fertilizer that's contaminated and they have good bathroom facilities, the lettuce in the United States should be pretty good. It's when they ship it in. And sometimes it's not on the labels correctly on a lot of food products. I've seen manufactured in, packaged in. That doesn't mean that that's where the product came from. It's just where they manufactured it or where they packaged it. There's a lot of other products I've looked into that don't tell you the origin, and I had to dig on one to find out it was coming from a country far, far away, yet it was labeled the United States. And there's dog food that does that too, because that was the end product when it was packaged from the U.S., but it wasn't from the U.S. So the point is, the U.S. lettuce should be pretty good. If you go to, let's say, a farmer's market and they're growing their own lettuce and they're organic, and organic, you got to be careful because human feces is organic. So you've got to think about that and just wash that lettuce good. You know the old saying, don't take candy from strangers? Gary keeps telling me that. He learned that as a little kid. I did too. We're taking candy every day from strangers. We're going to the grocery store and we're consuming raw products from people, farms, companies that we don't know anything about. I think what I'm trying to push here is lettuce is the easiest thing to grow. And if you concentrate on, let's say, one type, you can get it to grow so good on your property, you're going to have more than you need. I want you to know that the lettuce you're growing is pretty safe. It should be completely safe. I eat this raw. I just pick it and eat it. It's the easiest thing to grow. I want you to understand that don't be afraid of growing lettuce. I've had people say, oh my gosh, I can't grow. It's going to have parasites and everything. No. You grow your own food and you know where it comes from. Now, do I use fertilizer? Absolutely not. Will I use a fertilizer? I use my own plants to make fertilizer, so I compost in place as well as breaking it down. There is one thing I use, and that's another topic, but it is not a fertilizer. If I can't eat something I am feeding my plants, then I don't want to give it to my plants. That's just the way it is. That's me. Doesn't mean you have to be that way. If I can't eat it and I could not consume it at one point, then I don't want to offer it to my plants. Plants are really good. They pull up what they need and what they want. That's why I don't even worry about plastic. They don't pull up plastic. But the point is, think about what you're feeding your plants, and if they don't have a choice, if there was plastic in here, they're not going to pull it up because they're not interested. But if you were feeding fertilizer and there was something, a nutrient, a mineral that they needed, they may pull that up because they need it and they can't find it. But we can supply that in so many different ways, and I can get into that another time. But we don't use fertilizer. My big thing I use is I compost in place, which means the plants that grew around here, whether it's lettuce, old vegetables, weeds that are growing all over the ground, they break down and they feed my plants. They pulled up the nutrients and it goes back into my plants. I don't need to go buy something to feed my plants. I got enough stuff around here and leaves and trees. And if you don't, you can go to people's yards and clean it up. Make sure they're not spraying. So the big thing today I wanted to talk about is don't be afraid of the stuff you're growing. Unless you're buying human fertilizer, then from feces, then you're going to have to be very, very careful. But in general, most people that are growing their own plants want to be very careful because the whole idea is you want to grow your own, just like these beautiful lettuce, and you want to know where it came from. And if you're taking care of it yourself, your spouse, your kids, and you're watering it, You're not giving it any weird things in there. You should be just perfectly safe. In fact, you're going to be healthier than a lot of other people. Your lettuce, your vegetables, you could grow cilantro and basil in here. Everything you want will be free of any contaminants because you are taking care of it and you know what goes in it. So I just wanted to tell you, rest assured, you people that are watching me and you're gardening and saying you're growing all kinds of lettuce now and you're growing all kinds of vegetables, you're good to go. It's the other ones that we don't know about, the ones that are in plastic bags, the ones that we're buying from the store. We don't know how they treated their lettuce, what they fed it, what they're growing it in, and all that. Use common sense, and I think you'll be perfectly fine. With that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow, and try some lettuce if you're not growing lettuce, because romaine lettuce is so green and beautiful. It grows so good. You know, some of these lettuce are like 6 months old because I cut it from the outside and they keep going. Eventually, they're going to bolt and turn into seeds, but that's okay because this is a cycle of life. I haven't bought these lettuce seeds in probably 8 to 10 years. I bought it once, started growing my own lettuce from my own seeds, and now they're stronger than ever because they're used to it. Bye-bye.